Another Tonecast update coming up for you guys.
Yeah, what's going on, everyone? This is, we look very official now with the Tonecast logo behind us. For those who don't know about the Tonecast, that is our podcast. That's our cool way of talking about guitar gear, a little more long form, extended conversations about interviews and all sorts of things. We're just going to recap the last couple shows that we've done. We want to connect here on YouTube. Something connected with YouTube that we're really excited about is we're going to actually be simulcasting. We're going to be videoing and recording the audio at the same time. So a lot of podcasters do this. We haven't done that. As we gear towards 100 episodes, we're going to make the transition to videoing everything. So you'll be able to see stuff on YouTube. You'll be able to look at our ugly mugs while we talk about these different things. So a lot more editing, a lot more challenges that come with that for us just to set things up. And so bear with us as we do that. But we are going to recap the last few episodes of the podcast. So let's start with 87.
Yeah, 87, we talked with Brandon Bagby, a session musician, a touring musician, but also a full-time dad and somebody that has managed to, work it all in and still make music his primary source of income, and that's something that is really cool and is inspiring to us. So, it was a really good conversation, I thought, and some of his viewpoints and we tend to look at our guitars as tools, and especially as we build and design stuff and prototype stuff, it's we need the guitar to be able to install the pickups into tests. So, fun topics and stuff like that, but a really good conversation and really good to take his perspective into consideration. I think it's really valuable, and I really appreciated talking to him and get to know him.
Yeah, definitely. That part about, we talked about making your guitar is the tool that you need to use to accomplish the job, and less about trying to flip a guitar or sell a guitar. I thought that was the thing that, it probably was a little bit convicting for both of us, is we buy guitars and we move them around and all this stuff, but keep them, use them, and that's what they're for, and I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
And in episode 88, we talked about the clones, the copies, and kind of originality in the guitar industry. There's a lot of clones, there's a lot of copies, there's a lot of people doing versions of the same thing that have been done for a long time. And we don't necessarily feel like that's a bad idea, but there are lines that some people cross. And so in episode 88, we kind of cover that whole cloning and copying and where we stand on that, kind of how we approach that as we have inspired by vintage pickups, but we're not trying to clone them. And we kind of talk about that along with originality and the goal and the inspiration of coming up with something that hasn't been done before, or a version of something that's been done, but our own version, if that makes sense. So I think that was kind of us saying hey, this is a reality in the industry, but you need to look at all the aspects of it and kind of make your mark in the industry, if you will.
Yeah, so that was definitely a good podcast too. And there's definitely aspects of that are a facet of the industry, and you just, by not understanding them, is kind of being a little naive. So it's important to know, and there's a lot of stuff out there. So.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's just trying to stay original and find what sounds good to you, and and I guess that is a good way to lead into episode 89, I believe, as we were talking to Jack Fawcett, a fellow Telly enthusiast. And that was, to me, one of the standouts. But he's also a recording artist, does producing stuff, and there's CDs of his floating around at the shop. He is the creator of The Sound, Tonecast intro. So how can I forget that? That should have been the lead, and I think that was the lead into the podcast, but... So you'll catch that. He's a super cool dude, and he shares the telly mindset, I guess. And we talked a little bit about why we enjoy tellies, and even I remember one of the things we talked about was how it's slightly easier for a telly to get into Gibson territory than a Gibson to get into Tele-territory. That's a tongue twister right there. But that's also kind of convicting, and go ahead and you can comment down below why you disagree. And I know you can change wiring and stuff and make your Gibson do all sorts of fun stuff. But so that was a really cool one, and go ahead and check that one out. He's definitely a cool dude. Check out his music.
Definitely, yeah. And so in episode 90, we have the subject of what causes guitar gas. So why do we like guitars? Why do we go after certain guitars, and both of us talk about kind of some personal experience, some guitars that we're chasing,
Yes.
guitars that we did chase in the past, and kind of
Forever chasing.
yeah, I think we kind of dive into this psychological part of it where we say, you know, why does this guitar become something that I really want? What causes the gas? What enables the gas? And also on the other side of the coin, what stops the gas from happening, which is money or just the used prices and that kind of stuff. So we get into the weeds of that kind of. We're trying not to be really deep with it, but it ended up being like, hey, here's some, you know, I like this artist, and so I'm going to buy their signature guitar. I like, you know, for me it was a Sunburst Strat because I like Stevie Ray Vaughan. Mm-hmm. So there's all these factors that contribute to the guitar gas, and so we make our best attempt in episode 90 to
kind of dissect
to come up with the root cause, and also realize that we have problems with guitar gas ourselves. I think that's the biggest takeaway from that episode 90. But that's a recap of some of the latest shows on the Tonecast. Make sure that you subscribe here on YouTube. Make sure that you're subscribing on iTunes or Podbean. We're going to include that link to all the episodes below so you can go listen to them. Get it on iTunes, anywhere you have podcast apps. Make sure you're subscribed and you can rate the show. Catch the newest shows. We're trying to come out with this show every week. We'll do our best to get there, but we just want to let you know what the latest episodes were. So thanks for watching.
Yeah, we'll catch you on the next one.